Okay, this is the highway I live along nearby, but I just wanted to show you a little because some of you are barking I don't show enough stuff, but we're not allowed to film Filipinos here, so I can't do that. I don't want to get kicked out of the country. Men have been kicked out. They changed the law here. So, but you see a little. You heard me talking about character, right? I'm talking about character, and the reason, if you listen to any of my video chats, or you talk to me in person, because I talk about it with people over here, Filipinos, foreigners, anybody, because that's my mantra, that's my modus operandi, my MO these days. That's the framework I'm living in and my worldview. It's just really helping me personally inside. Secondarily, it helps me interact with people better. And my basis of this is I'm a Christian, and there's one teaching, one specific area where there's many related areas to that subject where it says there's no law. God says there's no law. The Lord says, Jesus Christ, there's no law against good nature. That's the beginning of the sentence, and then I change the end. What it says is the fruit of the Spirit. If you know what the fruit of the Spirit is, it means, hi guys. It means the nature of God. God has the best fruit, the best character. He's talking about personality. God has a fantastic personality. So, I'm kind of stuck here. There's the little shops over there. So I'm just trying to do a little intro here. So I want to share something with you that I think is important. That if it's true that, and it lists these character traits related to the fruit of the Spirit: peace, joy, gentleness, self-control, whatever, kindness. These are good vibes, man. The opposite of those is chaos, roughness, brutal, unmerciful, unloving. These are bad character vibes. So the Lord is saying, if you have a good nature, a good personality, He will never judge you, because He would judge Himself, because He's that way. He cannot judge goodness. He cannot judge kindness. He will not condemn or say anything against anybody. So if you sort of get my gist, now I want to shift into why I'm doing this little video chat. And it's because there's some people that I know that seem to demonstrate an abundance of these wonderful 25, 30 character traits, or several significant ones. And you can tell, and I should create a list of who doesn't. I mean, not to put anybody on the spot, but historically, people that were lacking to the point where they were condemned. And even by God, even by Jesus, condemned, no matter how talented they are. I always say lately that it takes no talent to go to heaven. You have to have character. So who's the first person I think of when I think of this good character? And this is a little tricky. It's a little speculatory. I'm just admitting it. I don't have all the facts. I don't have enough facts. But Enoch, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, talks about Enoch. Oh, there's the fish. Oh, this is the road that smells. Can you see the fish? Oh, I don't like walking down this street. It says he was taken up. He didn't see death because God was pleased with him. And I like to think, what pleases God? His nature, the fruit of the Spirit. Enoch must have been, in my mind, such a pleasant, good personality. Just a wonderful guy to be around, non-judgmental, just very, very careful not to judge like God. Only as a last resort, only if he has enough evidence. God will not judge anybody. He'll keep quiet. He knows everything. He can read your heart. He's just not going to be, he doesn't need to follow the command from Jesus, don't judge. He doesn't need to follow that because he never misjudges, and he rarely wants to judge. So Enoch was like that, I think. I think he was kind. He was gentle. He was a man. He was strong. He was brave, but he wasn't a coward, you know? He wasn't pushy. He was meek. He was mild. Like Jesus said, he was meek and mild. So the first person that comes to my mind that has good nature in my thinking is Enoch. Why did God take him up that he didn't see death? He got that extra blessing that none of us get. I mean, even Jesus didn't get that. And Jesus was way better than Enoch, because Jesus started as an existing one, as God the Son, deity. Enoch didn't. He had a beginning like all of us. So he's a creature. We're creatures. We're not creator. And then the next person that comes to mind is Samuel. And he was a priest, judge, so to speak, but I don't think he was of a priestly descent, but he was a priest. He was a helper Remember, he was a little boy that Hannah prayed for. She didn't have kids, and she wanted to have kids, and she prayed to the Lord earnestly, and she had a rival wife of her husband that made her bitter. She used to taunt her, and so Hannah would petition the Lord. And Eli saw it, the priest, once, and said, "Put away your drinking." She said, "Oh, I'm not drinking," because she was like mumbling, praying to God, mumbling. He thought she was drunk. She said, "No, I'm just pouring my heart out before God. I'm very troubled." And he said, "May God answer your prayer." And lo and behold, she had a child named Samuel, and she said, "I'll give him to the Lord." So she gave, eventually, when he was a certain age, she gave him to Eli to serve in that tent area of the Lord. He grew up, and so I don't think he was Aaron's family, but he was like the last priest / judge of that era, that season of God's people and of the world. And he just seems like a great guy. Now, his kids didn't turn out too well. When they were adults, the people said to him, "Look, your children don't follow your ways." And I'm not placing the blame on Samuel. Look at Adam and Eve. They had a son that was a devil, and he killed his brother. Why did he kill him? Because his brother's deeds were good. All right? Cain was angry. Even the Lord came to Cain in the garden and said, "Look, you need to straighten up, buddy. You need to get your act straight. Quit being angry. You need to do better. You're not doing good." But Cain didn't listen. He got angry and went out and killed his brother after that. So even God himself, the Lord, he can try to guide us, but we're so stubborn, we're going to do our own will. And Cain has bad character. He's a condemned person. But my point is, Samuel was a terrific guy. He didn't take money to get bribed. He just served the people. He was such a good-natured guy. He's the second guy that comes to mind. He just seems wonderful. There's nothing bad said about him in the Bible. David was a great guy too, but David, like some of us, commit great sin. Samuel did not commit a large sin that I know of. We don't know everything about him, but Samuel was a fantastic individual. My mom, as the years and decades go by, she was a saint, but she never went to church, man, hardly at all. She didn't swear, and she was helpful, kind, somewhat quiet, didn't shrink back from helping anybody. She was such a good person, such a good-natured person. She helped me so much. She used to do so many things for me, and she was so mild, not severe, wasn't critical. I only seen her cry once, and that's when her best friend across the way, Mrs. Yanko, she died of cancer, of breast cancer. She was in the living room crying, and that's the only time I ever seen her cry, because she cared about that woman. And the only time I ever seen her get angry, besides the time she said she was going to wash my mouth out with soap because I used the F word. That's it. I think she kind of slapped me on that one. She wouldn't hurt a fly, but certainly tried to correct me on that. But there was something bad that happened to a kid in the world, maybe locally. And she sat in the living room. She just wished that a big something from heaven would come down, a big monster, and get that guy. So she had a sense of justice. Don't misjudge my mom. She was super kind. She suffered a lot in life. My dad was a great guy too in his own way, World War II guy. Didn't believe in God, told me. But at the end of his life, he said, "I never believed in God, but now I do, Pat." So something was going on in his heart. He started to get hurt and have problems, and he reached out to God. Started thinking about God, and it changed his life. So that worked. Suffering worked in his life to help him believe in God. That's an amazing thing. That's how it works sometimes. But my point is, my mom was terrific. She was a great person to be around. What a lovely, lovely nature she had. Lovely. So, there are people that are just fantastic, and that are just and kind at the same time. That's hard to do. A lot of people are kind, but they're not just. They'll drive the getaway car for you. They have no standards. I'm not talking about men pleasers. That's a big sin. But that's some of the people that come to my mind that have such good nature, like God.